Ladies and gents, welcome back again for a new video. So I made that video not that while ago where I was making fun of Windows because I love making fun of Windows, if that makes sense. It was like 2 days ago, right? And there was a lot of comments. Yeah, how many comments? 44 comments. That's a lot for me, okay? If you get it, you get it. If you don't, that's fine. So there was a lot of comments talking about Linux and the problems that people face with Linux and why people like Windows and not Linux and why they like Linux and not Windows. But there was that one single comment that's actually got my attention. It was by Vidmal1337. Thank you, by the way, for typing this whole paragraph about your opinion about Linux and Windows and all of that. And this one, we'll read that thing together. And they will also try to apply to some of the things said in the comments in here. So let's start with the first thing. Well, let's be honest a little bit. Windows itself is a huge corp mess called operating system, where kill and explore exe just send you to another dimension. It's just file exploring thing. Yeah, it should be like that, or just must be. It's not. I understand complaining people about the terminal and complexity and hard things in Linux. No, there is nothing hard here. You just need to learn. Focus on that one thing and remember it. As a 3 to 5 years Linux user, I can't stand people complaining about the OSs. Oh no, it's terminal. Yeah, you're scared about what? If you type something you shouldn't have typed, it's only your fault. Duh. OS itself, of course, needs to execute something by itself, but for God's sake, only things the OS needs is to run properly. Other things is your own work. Facts, where is it? Facts and facts. Everything is facts. Listen, buddy, if you have ever used Linux, you know it's not complicated that much. For people that never really used Linux and that are afraid of using Linux, I'm gonna explain to you something. Imagine there is somebody called Jason. Jason is a normal guy that never used Windows. One day, I went to Jason and I told him, hey Jason, I will let you install Windows and use it. And he was like, great, give me that one laptop that I will use Windows on. He doesn't know how to use Windows, right? So Jason, since he never used Windows, he needs to learn how to use Windows. That's necessary. We cannot deny that. That's necessary 100%. You're not just going to tell me he's going to use Windows that he never used in his life and be like really good at using it just out of nowhere. No, he's going to learn how to install the operating system, how to create his own workflow in Windows, and all different things. And this, of course, needs learning in order to be good at using Windows. The same applies on Linux. If you never used Linux, you have to learn how to use it. The rule is simple. Apply it. And that's something that doesn't apply only on Linux. On everything in this life, in this world, in this dimension, you have to learn in order to do something the right way. So the terminal, for example, let's talk about the terminal. You're not just going to be professional using the terminal out of nowhere, which, by the way, you don't have to use. It's not necessary to use the terminal and Linux. For people that use Linux Mint, they know that using the terminal is not really necessary, or you don't have to use it at all. If you want to install your packages or applications, you can just install them using the Discover thingy, or I don't know what it's called. Basically, Windows Store for Linux. Imagine it that way. Now back to the learning thingy. If you're just lazy to learn something, don't use Linux. If you're just so used to Windows, please don't install Linux and find it a bit complicated to use, and then start yapping about how hard and complicated it is. The problem is not Linux itself. The problem could be you. Maybe you have chosen the wrong distribution, like some beginners that go install Arch. I did that as well, but I mean, like, I was able to handle it. Maybe you can now. Or maybe because you didn't learn enough and you didn't make a background research, and a lot of other reasons that can make your experience bad on Linux. Simply learn. Moving to the next thing. Valve working hard on Proton, but there is that one guy that's his that one game won't launch. Oh my god, I'm gonna get triggered right now. I'm gonna get triggered. Is it Valve or Proton problem? Yes and no in the same time. They won't work on that game just because you can't launch to keep your ass on Linux, bro. They done just more than enough for the gaming here, better didn't they? That one sentence is the one that get me triggered. That one sentence, my boy. So Proton, released back in 2018. When first released, it only supported 25 games. Really small number. But overall, back then, it was a big thing for Linux, because finally, gaming on Linux, we got hopes. Amazing. Now, 7 years later, 90% of the games are available on Linux, working, functioning just fine. There's like tiers where like Platinum, Gold, and you know that shit. Some games need you to configure them, some games just run natively just like that, no problems, and some games will work but with a lot of problems. Doesn't matter. The main thing, or the main idea, is that gaming is available on Linux. You see that one specific game that doesn't want to launch in Linux or whatever whatever Linux distribution you're using, you know why it's not launching? Just because you're stupid. The Linux community is really welcoming anybody. Doesn't matter where you are. You just can use Linux. Nobody gonna stop you. But if you just gonna install Linux and then install that one game and annoy our asses how that game specifically doesn't run, it's your fault in the first place for switching to something that you're not capable of handling. If you're gonna install Linux, you should already know that a lot of games aren't able to run properly. You gotta keep that in mind the first day you install Linux. And just yapping in Linux forums saying that, oh, my games won't launch, Linux is bad, Linux is horrible, and just keep yapping about that, believe me, you're just disrespecting the Linux community. Because Proton or Valve is a game changer, and we all know that as people from the Linux community. And I'm sure from like 5 years or like a decade from now, it will be perfect, and nobody knows. Maybe Linux will perform better than Windows. You might get surprised, but Microsoft was gonna release that one project, Canon, or whatever it's called. It's like a handheld that will let you play games just on the go. You're just gonna have a handheld similar to the Steam Deck and play your games just like that. But you know what happened? The project was cancelled. Why? Stability issues on Windows 11. But the main reason, and you will get really surprised, is because Linux was performing better than Windows on games. Like, yeah, it wasn't really that big difference between the performance of a game on Linux and on Windows, but it was enough to make Microsoft cancel its projects and move on to fixing Windows 11 problems and optimize it to run games better. Moving to the next thing. And also, GUI shit isn't that comfy as you really think. Of course, it still depends on purposes. If you really think jumping like a monk, that should get me laughing, from a page to page, just to find that one thing is that comfortable for you, then that's okay. But if you just sound like being masochist, is that how to say it? Linux, of course, have graphic user interface, but it just balanced better, in my opinion. The OS is for you, but you still must learn do's and don'ts. You know about the graphical user interface thing? It actually depends on you and the purposes. It's mentioned over here. I can just go like that, okay? Just like that. No. Wait, there you go. Isn't that similar to Windows? I can just, for example, show alternatives just like that and go application. Yeah, there you go. Even the Windows look good. What do you think? Like, here you go. I personally think that Windows desktop, Windows 10 or 11 desktop are just a little copy of KDE Plasma. That's my opinion. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what your opinion will be, but like me personally, I think they're just a lookalike of KDE Plasma. Now let's switch everything back together. Exits. No matter what people are gonna keep saying, just the interface or the graphical user interface is more balanced on Linux than Windows, and looks better in my opinion. Like out of the box, looks just much better with all the customization thingies that you can add to it. Those of course are not available in Windows. But yeah, let's just move to the next thing. The commands, baby, the commands. Something that scares a lot of people. What a nightmare. People must learn using CD commands. Hell on earth. Also, ls is that easy. Also, if someone don't know most of their binaries has you'll be shocked / help flag, no way you can just read what the flag do. And also you can create aliases, is that how it's pronounced, to make your experience better. Duh. Every sentence, every like paragraph is finished with duh, but that's fine. Now, for people that doesn't know what / help flag means, when you're using the terminal, because we deal with the terminal a lot, sometimes you don't know what some commands mean. So what you do is / help flags so you understand what everything means and what everything does. So if you have some time, you can read the summary of the flags and everything, but if you don't, Google is your friend. Use Google and just search for everything. It's not really a big deal to use the command line. Like, seriously. If you're just so used to not, deal with the command line in Windows, that doesn't mean it's impossible for you to just get used to it in Linux. Of course, if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's just a matter of time, and you gotta train yourself to use the command line. It just doesn't happen out of the box. You'll learn. There is YouTube, there is Google, there is forums, there is Reddit, there is communities, there is whatever However, you're gonna make mistakes when using the command line and all that, but that's how we learn. Moving to the next thing, privacy. What is that? Said random guy somewhere on Earth. Bets that type of people will start child screaming when their sensitive picture go viral on the internet. So they care about the privacy or not. The yapping ends when the real privacy gets hurt. But yeah, we'll learn by mistake, or we just don't. A lot of people actually go with that sentence of, oh yeah, they have nothing to deal with anyways. I have nothing in their laptop or desktop. They can just collect whatever they want. I have nothing important. And they bet the moment you will tell them, oh hey, go use your laptop on public or your phone and expose your screen to everyone, they will basically reject. They'll be like, no, that's something that will touch my privacy. Of course, stupid as well. So what's the difference between those people in public that will look at your screen and Microsoft? No difference. It's just the people that will look at your screen in public are people you can see with your eyes. But Microsoft, you cannot see it because it's secretly doing it. Of course, we're not going to say that your privacy remains intact on Linux. If you're using just a browser like Chrome, for example, if I go over here and select Chrome, just like that, let's open Chrome, I'm not 100% safe while using that browser because Chrome now is collecting my data. It doesn't have to be Microsoft's or some other company. Anyone can collect your data. No matter where you live or what you do, your data gonna get collected anyways. It just, you reduce the amount of data collection by switching distros, switching browsers, and all the techniques available. If you want to go deep into the rabbit hole, go ahead and explore yourself. Also, screenshot drama, doing screenshots on OS from time to time. We're doing it for your better experience. And also, they do horrible OS that people decide to ditch for Linux. Do we really need to say that the screenshots are enough for experience? No, I hope we don't need to. We actually need to say that and mention that because, bro, I don't know if people are like silly or like if people are stupid. If you think that they're doing that for your own experience and for your own happiness, there is nothing on earth that will just happen for you. It happens for them. It happens for their happiness, for their business, for their money. Your screenshots are not just a waste of time. The fact that they literally created that thing, wasted billions of dollars just to create Recall and to get it working on Windows 11 and to basically ship it with some computers in the first place, which they called the Copilots Plus PCs or laptops or whatever. The goal is not to get a better experience for you. The goal is you. You're the goal. You're the products they're selling. You is what they're looking for. It's not your experience. Keep that in mind. A technique that a lot of big tech companies use, saying that, oh, we do this for customers. Well, nothing is for customers and it's all for their own reasons and for their own business. So for final summary, people can stay on Windows. We just shouldn't care about that. Why? That's not our problem. If you want Windows experience on Linux, go ahead. You can do the KDE Plasma, has a lot of themes also for Windows 11 and 10. Just the one I'm using right now. I'm using KDE Plasma. You can customize it as you like because it's yours. If people really want to be addicted by Windows more and more, then let them do it. You choose by yourself because you are just aware of things most people don't see or just accept life as it is. Personally, I respect the freedom while I have to choose it. You just must choose wisely. Not by just being told that Windows is very friendly. Linux gives you power. Windows is just a cage for people that don't really like to make their life better. They'll do perfection. Mentioned everything on the list. And yeah, you don't have to do it. If you just want to use Windows, use it. If it gives you a good experience, like if you think Windows is perfect and just amazing, use it. But don't yap about the Linux community while you didn't even get yourself into that word yet. You get it? But overall, this whole thing said in here, I don't know what to say. But everything, almost everything in here makes sense. Thank you, by the way, for your comments. I really appreciate everything that's up in here. And I would like to see more of these comments in the future and even make videos about them. Why not? Because also your opinion matters. I'm not just one of those YouTubers that will tell you to leave a comment for no reason. The reason I tell you to leave one is because I want to read it. I want to know what's your opinion about the video or about the idea of that video itself. So yeah, this was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, a comment. Do I have to mention that again? See you in the next one. Bye-bye.